Hi, my name is Julianne, and today I'm going to be doing my October wrap-up. It's been a while since I've done a wrap-up, so I figured why not do another one. First book that I want to talk about that I read in October is The Ship of the Dead by Rick Riordan. This book was so good. It's the final book in the Magnus Chase series. I like the ending, it was just so happy and stuff, which was... This is the first ending we get after Blood of Olympus. So, expectation a bit low when going into this book, and it was, I really like the way it ended. I really love this whole thing. It does feel like the third book in a 5-book series, but it's still a solid ending to the series. I'm not saying it isn't, trust me, it is not Blood of Olympus. I will be doing, a full review of this book at some point. It's NaNoWriMo right now, so I don't post that frequently, but now I'm probably going to post a little less frequently. After this, I decided to start a new book, literally the next day. And that book is called Nemesis by Brendan Reichs. Whatever that name says. This book was so good. I really enjoyed this book. I went into this with not really a lot of expectations because I wasn't sure where it was gonna go, and I love where it went. There's so many stories that I feel like this, I don't know if purposely drawn from, but it feels like it's drawn from different stories. I was reading this, I'm like, this feels like the 100, this feels like Happy Death Day. I was just reading this and I'm like, this feels like this other thing. But it's done in such a unique way that it doesn't feel like it's stealing. It doesn't feel like, oh, I've seen this before. It just feels like, it just gives me the same feelings as when I'm watching the 100 or when I was watching Happy Death Day. So the premise though, there's this girl and she gets killed on her birthday every 2 years, and then she wakes up completely fine, and now she's, had enough and is like, I'm gonna figure out what's going on. Enough is enough. I need to stop getting murdered. So it's really interesting. Don't read the summary. That's my 2 cents. Because I didn't even read the summary, I just knew the premise was this girl kept getting murdered, and that was it. And I just feel like the summary might not necessarily spoil you, but give you more information than you want. I say, go into this a little bit more blind, in my opinion. But I really liked going into this knowing pretty much nothing. I went into this, I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. Roller coaster of emotion. I was in such a shock at the end, and then I have 50 pages left, and then I was like, this is a series, isn't it? I was hoping it was a standalone, but no, I'm invested in another series. For school, I'm taking a class called Literature of Adolescence. Fun fact, I once pronounced that as adolescence, so my family has never lived that down, so that's great. I swear, I'm a writer. I know words. One of the books we have to read is Little Woman, which I read, and it was great. I liked it, which surprised me because I didn't think I was gonna like it. But it gave me such Little House on the Prairie vibes. I was reading this, I'm like, Jo is Laura, isn't she? I was just like, this feels like Little House on the Prairie, except they're not on the prairie. I don't really have much else to say about it. It's a pretty famous book. I feel like people would know what it's about. If you don't, it's about these 4 girls kind of growing up and learning things. But anyways, so after that, I'm also reading Life of Pi, which is somewhere in my house. Here's a picture. So Life of Pi, it's about this kid who ends up in a boat with a tiger. It's really good. I've loved survival stories ever since Flight 29 Down. That is the reason I love stories where there's a plane crash onto a deserted island. That is the show that got me into that whole survival genre. If it wasn't for Flight 29 Down, I would never have the interest in watching Lost, and Lost is amazing. I know what people hate the ending. I don't care. I love the ending because it's literally ends the way it begins. Honestly, I think that was really clever of them. But anyways, sorry, this just turned into me trying to defend Lost. Life of Pi is great though. I don't really know much else to say because I haven't finished the book yet. Alright, so this next book, there's a story that's part of this book. I find this story interesting. I don't know if anyone else will, but whatever. So I'm at Barnes & Nobles, you know, obviously, like when am I not? And I'm in the science fiction section. I'm looking at the top shelf and I'm like, I see the title of this book and I'm like, I have to have this book. Like, this book is mine now. So I go like searching around for like a stool or something because I'm short, so I can barely reach like the top shelf. Anyway, so can't find a stool. And back in April, and it's taken me months and months and months to heal, but like I twisted my ankle. I won't tell the full story, I've told it many times and it's just embarrassing every time. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna jump for this book while my foot is twisted. I'm like jumping up and down trying to get this book, looking around to see if like anyone can help me, but also like hoping no one could see me because like it was embarrassing. So I'm like jumping for this book, I grab it and like I'm like pushing it off. Like every time I grab it, it like kind of moves forward a little bit and then it falls off the shelf and I caught it and I felt so proud of myself that day. And I caught the book and it ended up not buying the book that day. And then some other time I go back to Barnes & Nobles, it's still there. And I'm like, okay, I'm getting this book now. So here is the title of the book that I almost killed myself for because I just had to have it. It's called What the F Is That? I don't know. I just saw the title and I wanted it. It's a horror anthology and there's 20 stories. I wanted to read it for Halloween, but it's November 6th as of recording this and still in that second story, so oh well, maybe I'll finish it by next year. I really am enjoying the second story so far. It's called Fossil Heart by Amanda Downham. It's really interesting. I haven't like finished it, but so far I really like it and I am, even though I'm still not done, I like it enough that I want to go check out this author's other stuff. Like it's really well written. It's a very compelling story. Like I'm so interested and invested in the story. The first story though, not good. Just don't read it. It's terrible. I read the first story and I'm like, if the rest of the stories are like this, then this was the worst purchase I probably made. Yeah, so the first story, so bad. Like I don't understand what was happening. Like I don't know what the heck, like this guy was like 10 at the beginning and then randomly he's like 40 and then you think he's hallucinating stuff but then he's like maybe not and then it's just like what? I feel like the author was just trying to go for like the most confusing thing and maybe it sounds profound. I don't know. I don't know, like it's just no. I don't even have words to describe how bad it is. I recommend skipping the first story and jumping into the second story. Obviously haven't read the rest so I don't know if they're good or not. They released a new book and okay, not even planned, but I was wearing this shirt the day I went to go get the book and then I come home and I'm like, oh, I'm wearing my Night Vale shirt. But anyway, so I got their new book. It devours. Why did no one tell me how amazing the pages are? Like the camera's not even picking up how beautiful this is. Oh my god, like it's just amazing. I'm sorry, I'm like freaking out over these page colors. Like I picked it up and I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. So I'm really excited to read It Devours because it's a Night Vale book. Like I'm so excited. Oh yeah, that's it. That's all the books I read and are planning to read. This is, I guess, is a mini haul. Like I haven't even like opened this book. Okay, open book. Like look at that. Is it weird that I think that looks amazing? I guess good artwork. Alright, enough about Night Vale and the books I've been reading. Now I'm going to move on to some of the TV shows I've been watching. I still haven't caught up on Arrow or Supergirl. I started watching the first 2 episodes of The Flash and I hadn't even caught up on Arrow and I kind of maybe got spoiled on something that happens in that show. So I decided to not watch The Flash until I'm caught up on all the other shows. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend came back. I am so happy. I love the song Let's Generalize About Men. Like, I don't know, I just thought that was hilarious. Actually, for class, I'm doing I'm writing an essay on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, so I've been rewatching it. But season 3 is going great. I love it. It's, except for the fact that I think it's pretty much been confirmed that Greg's not coming back. Like the latest episode that came out, which I believe was maybe episode 3, 4, the way they make it sound, I don't think Greg's coming back, and because the episode was such an emotional roller coaster already up to that point, and then it's revealed, like, they don't point blank say it, but like it's implied by what is going on with him, is that he's not coming back at all. And then I just immediately started crying. I don't know why, but like, you know, I have been on Team Greg this entire show. Okay, I was on Team Josh for a while, but then, like, you know, Greg, like, that one line that person said, it broke me. And then the ending happened, and I can't. So yeah, that's it about Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. I have been keeping up with Riverdale. Love that show. It's one of those guilty pleasures where I know it's not that good, especially the first season, especially the first few episodes. I was like, the show's not that good, but I love it anyways. And I love Andre's videos. The Black Nerd, go watch his videos. Like, his videos are the reason I kept up with Riverdale in the first place. But the show I'm most excited to talk about is called Mindhunter. It takes place in the 70s. It's about this FBI agent and his partner, who's also an FBI agent. They go around and they're talking to like serial killers and trying to figure out like what makes a serial killer a serial killer. It's really interesting watching. I'm like on the 4th episode. I highly recommend it, especially if you're into kind of like how the whole FBI criminal side of things developed. Like, I don't know how real the show is. Like, I don't know if there was an actual person and his partner traveling around the country talking to serial killers trying to like figure them out. Like, I don't know how much of that is real or not, but serial killer people are actual real people, so it's kind of freaky because like they're actually talking to them. And I did not know like so many of these people like were all alive pretty much at the same time, doing their crimes at the same time, which is like kind of crazy. But the first episode is really intense. Like someone like blows their brains out, and it's just, you see it. It's intense. So if you don't want to see blood and gore, especially with that first episode, really, don't watch the show. But it's pretty. So like the first episode is really intense, like that first beginning of it. But that's pretty much all. It's a good show. I highly recommend it if you're into like crime shows. Oh, and it's on Netflix. I should mention that it's on Netflix. Yeah, so those are like the TV shows I've been keeping up with. And then just to move on to movies really quickly, I think I've only seen like one movie. And that is Happy Death Day. I really like it. The camera work was amazing. Ever since watching The Search for the Worst by I Hate Everything, like I pay attention to camera angles and like how movies are made. But basically it's like the day repeats itself, but it's cool because like the girl keeps getting murdered and then she has to figure out who's killing her, so it's a murder mystery. Like, it's getting annoying like with the days that repeat themselves, so it's fun to have a movie that's like does something kind of different with the genre. Like, it's still kind of the same thing, but it does its own thing, and that I really liked. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are the books, movies, and TV shows that I've watched and read. There's really nothing else to talk about. I feel like I've talked about this stuff for way too long now, so I need to wrap it up now. That was unintended pun. And I think that's it. So thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Goodbye.